All right, what's up, guys? We had a little technical difficulty, so we're going to merge the two videos there, and we're just going to keep going on. We left off with the ad tokens. We'll go ahead and put that back up. We were just talking about, like, what the hell? All these ad tokens are just on fire. Oh, my gosh, is this your opportunity?
Oh,
Oh,
shit. I don't know about that one.
well,
That's second
there
nerve.
is 5 waves. This is the only thing I do like about Elliott Wave. Everything else is pretty lame, but when there's clearly let's put it on that's only an hourly, so you don't even get it. But see how these are just really clean? Let's
Yeah.
say it's kind of like boom, 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 and then whatever.
So you think there's one more leg up on
Yeah,
that one?
a lot of times this does play out, especially in these pumps. I've seen it a lot on the hourly time frames and lower time frames too. So, because they're so short lived. But yeah, what's going on with ad tokens? I don't know if y'all know. Please message us, get to us, leave a comment, something, because this is crazy. What the hell? All right, let's go to Bitcoin. Ooh, looking pretty good. It's trying again. We do have a wild looking candle here, kind of
Yeah.
like a super like long doji, and then a spinning top over here. Like those are bearish patterns, but on an hourly, y'all know if you listen at all to my stuff, I'm not a huge fan of the hourly. If I do use them, it's for managing to take profits usually. All right, let's just jump up to the 4 hour. Yeah, here we go. Bumping on the top of this channel that's been built since mid-June. It's a pretty decent channel. It looks like we've been battling it here kind of the whole time since this initial pop right here in July, mid-July. I guess that was the 17th, it looks like. We're still coming up to this battle zone. We've been talking about this. We drew this box like back here, actually. So it's still, we're coming right up to it. So, yeah, we're like, I mean, look at that. Could it get any more, like, right on that? Drew
Yeah,
this
you're
box
right, man.
earlier. The line's going right in it. Here we are with price. I would love to see an engulfing candle pop up right now.
Golfing
An
candle.
engulfing candle like this. That's right. That does something like that. That goes past this range fast. Because that will be, in my opinion, that will show a lot of strength with the bulls. Y'all probably can't see that very well. Let me draw that with an arrow. There you go. Something that blows through this zone, whether it's here or we chop around a little bit here. Maybe it happens here. But I want to see this get cleared out quickly. And it needs to happen fairly soon as well. Because don't forget, there is 2 axes on your chart. You have X and Y. Most people just look over here on this side, right? Here and here on the price. But they forget about time. They're both on there for very good reason. It's like a good analogy is price is like your ceiling and floor, and time is like the walls. So once you get to a certain point in time, it needs to have already done the price action that you expect for it to still be a viable trade. And a lot of people don't add that into their analysis. I think it's really important. Maybe that's something we can dive into a little bit later. What do you think about that, Transfix?
Yeah, man. I'm interested to hear more about your take on that. I'm still trying to grasp exactly what.
Oh, just the general concept. So
Yeah.
here's like a time cycles. So these indicators too actually already exist in TradingView if you use TradingView or any kind of professional type software for trading. And if you see, like, you can do these and you can make your own cycles based on time. Maybe you've identified some type of cycle that a particular underlying goes in, and you can plot that on there. There's different measured ones you can do as well. It's not just that. There's actually a, let's find it here. It's a Fibonacci, but it's in a time zone Fibonacci. It's not, see, here you go. So it goes horizontal time instead of vertical in price. Again, like I said earlier, there are two. Is it axes or axes?
It's axes.
It's axes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was just thinking. I was like, wait, that doesn't sound right. Axes. Clarify that. See, we can fix it
It's
right
all
there.
good. Yeah.
Fix it on there. It's all about just getting through it and owning up and adjusting. Yeah, because if you don't do that in trading, by the way, change. Ooh.
Bad news.
Good luck. Good luck. So you can measure this and use Fibonacci in a horizontal fashion to see where big moves should already happen and maybe
That's
the
cool,
extent
dude.
of them.
I didn't know they had a horizontal fib on TradingView.
Yeah, and like I said, good ones will have that, and people use it in crazy fashions. I don't get into this kind of stuff, but people use fib circles and they do all the same things. They'll put one like this and one over here, and it starts looking really wild. It's almost like you're on a drug trip or something. I don't know what's going on there. There's also this. I've seen some people use this one. I think it uses a type of Fibonacci and it's for projections.
Yeah.
And weirdly enough, just drawing and measuring this move, when it did break down from this level, and the projections that it did create are kind of interesting, where these circles come down.
Yeah.
Like, they definitely are valid. I'm definitely not an expert in this. I know a lot more about basic Fibonacci. It's something I've kind of looked into. And I guess naturally just thought about that when I trade. I'm like, man, it's been too long. Like, it's stalling out, right? And the pace should keep up. It's like when you're running or something and you got to kind of slow down to catch your breath to get going again. Like on a fast pace, that is. So here we are bumping up against it. Let's go to the hour. Again, right at it. The bears are being vicious. They've been vicious since we got below 7,000, I would say. What do you think? They've been pretty mean. They're slapping any kind of like upward move.
Man. We don't have the upward momentum that a lot of people are looking for. I feel like, but we're getting into slowly in the dog days of summer. I think we're gonna start seeing some pretty bearish moves going forward, just because you're showing some compelling like boundary right here where we're going to be trading in, man. We've got this band here, right?
Yeah, I mean, this looks good on a 1 hour. On a 4 hour, it looks pretty good. You've got two of the shorter term EMAs crossing over.
Yeah.
And as long as price stays above pretty much 73 here in the next 2-3 days, you're going to have all of them, and that's a very bullish sign. I mean, for comparison, we haven't had that since here. Okay, so to be fair, that's where it usually will set up and be like, hey, this is a good risk to reward setup, but be ready to close it out if it goes against you quickly, right? Which it did,
totally.
And it was a total fake out. But I bet you if we pull up internals, they won't look that good. So let's check it out. So here we are, and we're on a 4 hour. Let's just go to a daily, just clean it up a little bit. Bitcoin has enough data for that. And so you can see on that 4 hour, it was crossing up here, right? On the daily, it hadn't done that.
Yeah.
And so it still had some good momentum. We were above 50, and everyone was like, oh, it looks good.
It's pretty good.
But then this candle happened right here.
Yeah.
That told you all this was wrong. And even if you took this hit right here, that's not super bad. You're going to be wrong in the markets. So you take a little 15% slap, you can ride it from the top right to that candle. 15%, that's nothing in crypto. but you're wrong, and Price told you you're wrong with that engulfing. You got to change. The pros will tell you that. It's like, you're gonna be wrong, man. Like traders, professional traders don't give a crap about being wrong. They care if you can change your position when the data tells you that you are wrong. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, basically, how much have you hedged for being wrong? If you've hedged enough for you're wrong, then you're going to be right again. Like
Right.
you make the amount that you can be wrong so small.
And hedging is different. There's lots of different ways to hedge it. Like this is a form of hedging, just stopping out when you maybe cross price action somewhere in one of these averages, or you see an engulfing candle like this one below all this price action. That's done. That trend is over. Switch if you play the other side. Sometimes you know, some people only go long. I I kind of understand why people are scared of short, like,
Yeah,
but it doesn't really make sense. It's like, oh, yeah, whatever. It's kind of silly. It's just the other side. Let's look on the 3 day. 3 day looks really nice. 3 day looks pretty great. We're on the verge. If we can get above 25, 26 on the DMI positive, guys, that's really bullish. That is very bullish. Now, that kind of move to do that from here, coincidentally, would be over that red box slightly. And that would easily get it to close above there. So that red box, like we've talked about, is the battle zone. We're coming up right to it. There's some good trades to be made in that moves. There's lots of opportunities in it too, but like we just discussed earlier, you've got to change your position because a lot of people, let's take it for the other side. When right here, let's say you hadn't seen any of this and we're like kind of doing this, right? It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good at
yeah,
all. You've got the longest MA up here. You got the halfway mark of the channel. You're on the bottom. Or does this look good? Would be my question. Because to me, I look at this as a great risk to reward long position. That's my opinion. And why is that? You might think, well, it keeps tapping on this. It's going to break it. Well, yeah, it could, but it could not. I don't know that. And you don't know that. No one knows that. So all you can do is control the price that you enter at. And so if you do get in here, you can only risk about 2.5% at the max. You could even go closer if it went below that trend line or that recent close or something like that. That's what's trading's an art. So take the risk that you're comfortable. Hell, maybe you're comfortable taking, 10% from here. That's fine. That's cool. That puts you down like over here. That seems like a great position, right? Your risk to reward and everything is lined up to where you're not going to get hurt or bleed as much as everybody else. And that's this whole game, is don't bleed as much as everybody else, because you bleed out fast in trading. And let me tell you, because I know personally, I've done it. I've done it not just once or twice either, but more times than that.
many times.
Yeah,
Myself
like
too.
like brutal ones. How about you, Transfix?
Absolutely,
Oh,
all the time. And well, I try to limit it, obviously, but you go through it. Just that's part of how you like understand markets in general.
it is.
What's going on? You gotta lose money to make it. So when you make it back, especially when you start making some money, and then you lose a bit of it, and then you make it back, and you lose it again, and you go through it's like you're treading water and all that, but like the whole like process of that just trains you.
Yeah, like, do you remember how brutal it was in 2014 and not the first part of it, but it was like from about now until springtime of 2015 then, where it was just gut wrenching, where you just were like, man, I'm done with crypto. I mean, I
Yeah, that was
still
pretty
had
brutal,
some and
man.
was like, man, this is cool. Very little. I was pissed. I almost like hung up trading and everything, period. That was my first real bear market, though. And I'm glad that I lived through that. And for someone of our age, you know, unless you pretty much grew up in trading like your dad or someone in your family did it, um, you know, if you're mid 20s to pretty much mid 30s, 40, like you needed that exposure to really get the feel of the crash because you probably weren't trading in '08. Like maybe you had a 401k or something and got hit a little bit, but you probably didn't really notice it. You weren't in the game, so to speak. Like
I wasn't there, man.
you
Uh,
were, or you weren't.
I wasn't. I was paying
Yeah.
attention to it,
Okay.
but
Yeah, I was
I
watching it, but I
wasn't.
didn't have no skin in the game.
Yeah, I didn't have money in it. I was still like just out of college, and a few years after though, I actually had a retirement account with the state because I worked for a university for first 3 years out of college.
Oh, okay, right.
So working at this lab, writing code for scientific software, and so I ended up accumulating some money in the TRS, and Teachers Retirement System,
It's a
and they
big one here that we have.
that's the big one, and they have this like certain rate of return that they provide every year. That it was at the end of the day, I mean that sort of situation doesn't help anyone really. I mean, the rates that they're providing are pretty damn low. It's amazing how much money they can lock in, how much people's money they can lock in, and like and then people feel like they're stuck and they have to vote for politicians and all these things when actually if they had more control over their own money that they've acquired their own wealth, and or if they actually took the time to understand it. Anyways, getting really off the beaten trail here.
Yeah, you tend to do that sometimes. That's
Yeah, it
okay.
happens. It
I do that
happens.
as well, though. It does. Like I said, it does happen a little late, especially with some of the technical difficulties that we had earlier. Kind of
Yeah.
monkey wrenched it. But here you go. I wanted to explain a little bit more about this bouncing and the risk to reward. This is what you want to look for, guys. Like if you're aggressive, maybe you can take middle channel. I mean, they do work. I mean, you can see both sides, right? Here to here, here. I mean, this is a lot of times when channels exist. And on the opposite side, you know, when price gets close to the top of the channel, you can take short positions that have the same lower risk than they normally do. Like, where would you pick to go short? Like, if this channel wasn't here, you know, like say this channel is not here. I don't want to delete my alert actually, so I'm not going to do that. But you know, if it's not there like that, like where, like how do you
Man,
pick?
Bitcoin's just
Look at
trading at a
that.
band, you know, within any time frame. You don't even really need the indicators. You could just like,
Boom. How much nicer that makes it. And those are easy to draw.
yeah,
I mean, you just do this. I have it on my quick one. It's just like a trend line, and you do the trend line first, and you pull up the top of the channel, and then you can do that. Boom.
that's cool.
And so it gives you a nice frame of reference for price. Because don't forget, you don't know anything. Price knows everything. It's going to tell you if it's bad or good. Doesn't matter news stories. You don't have to plug news stories to it. You know, do you notice this sometimes, Transfix, that like when something bad happens in the market or the price, whether it's actually up or down, people will be always like, well, what was the news story that made it move like that? And they try to put a news story to the price action which, which is kind of silly because the news is late. Price action in the market already digested that anyway and moved, and then now you're applying that. It's like like a laggard, pretty much like
Right.
it's
Well,
like an indicator that we use.
the
It's
news
late,
is describing a thing that already happened in the past,
right?
anyways. So the news itself is by definition late, and by factor of late is like is like function of how much you're paying attention and how much you have access to the information. And but what does that ultimately say about like what we're trading, especially like when we have certain price action happen. That's what people search for. They always look for, like, they have a piece of news and then they see the price action. They have to come up with a correlation. The news happened, but it's chicken and egg. What happened first, the news or the price?
I
Nobody
think,
knows.
yeah, and I don't think it's also more wasted energy to even
Well, it is
just follow.
wasted
It's like, who
energy.
cares? Like, actually, I don't even like, who cares about news?
Well, news has to matter at
Like,
some level. There has to
it
be
does, but
somewhere
price
in
it
some fundam like some land in like the atoms of the universe. There's like a fundamental
it matters,
world.
but people know before news gets announced. Regardless, there's always insider traders, if you
Well,
want to call
yeah. I
it
mean,
that.
there are people that have
But that's why
pre-news.
I don't think that it's just already all baked in, man. When you have trillions of dollars
It's not.
chasing
Well,
assets and balancing things, and I'm outside of crypto here. I'm just
yeah,
talking in general in markets. Like they're going to level it out because that money is going to do that by itself.
yeah.
That's part of
No, that's
just
true,
like you can't like
but
take that part out. But
it doesn't totally evenly distribute.
no, it never will.
But
That
but
but
that's
that
but
that can
that's
never
where
happen.
but that's what but the fact that it doesn't, obviously
Yeah,
it
it's
congeals in
impossible.
different places. That's where the money is made. Is like knowing where it congeals, man.
Oh
So
yeah, you just got to be getting in all kinds of things. Let's look at some daily chart action. I want to mention that you've got these moving averages really pumping up, coming on to your longer term, which has actually kind of been a little. It's flattening out. It's not going down yet, but it's definitely not. It's not looking as terrible as it could. I will say that.
you know,
Price is back up above it.
it does.
It's trying. It's going flat.
You know, it could
The
have another
purple looks,
10. It could
but
have
we're
an
right up on it, guys. We haven't tested this since April, late April, with the fake out. And man, what a good fake out it was. Look at this.
Yeah, there were a lot of people.
Stabilized above it. Let's look at our internals. Yeah, look at this. Everything looks really good, really good. But ADX and DMI wasn't having it already here. And then RSI came later about a week and was like, yeah, this is definitely bullshit. And then it just crashed. And not only was the RSI, ADX is usually the first mover in DMI to see any kind of weakness in a move. And then I like to go to RSI and then just straight price. Like once price confirms these divergences by going under like a moving average like these, that's it. It's over. It's done. And that's all. And you have to just keep it that way. And now you have to look at the short term, which is the yellow. And so you just look at the yellow and you just wait. Look, and for how long? It
Yeah,
went for May 13th to 7 to July 2nd before it even came over it. Yeah, it came close before, but none of those closed over it by an easily visual
yeah.
observation. And you get it there. I mean, so now, and that doesn't mean that it's going to go up like this. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying now you got to be like, oh, okay, wait, momentum might be changing. Let's see if we can get past the next level, which is why EMAs having like several of them, not too many, is pretty nice because it gives like a general like trend ribbon, if that's a thing. I don't know. That's kind of how I view it as
Make it
like a
a
little
thing.
trend ribbon. It's like kind of, whoa, right here it's coming down. Now you have a couple of them below a longer term. Oh, and then you get over here to where now are we going to get all of them below the longest term? Or are these about to come back over? I like to see this when they're converging. That means big moves are ahead. It's great.
I see what you're saying. It's
It's
like in 3D.
yeah, it's a weird way to
So
kind of smooth
in
price
depth,
action.
but
Yeah.
in depth, you can like they have this. Yeah, I got you.
So, guys, I think Bitcoin is looking pretty decent here. Although you're probably some of y'all are probably like, well, hey, dude, earlier you said when it comes up to here on this side, like right here, like this, and here, right? It's the same. That you should go short, just like right here and right here that you should get long. Well, first of all, I'm not telling you what you should do with your money on ever, period. You got to be grown and do that yourself. That's what's so cool about crypto too, is you get to take that power on. And I hope people realize that they will as time goes on. But yeah, that's right. That is totally true. Your probabilities and risk to reward are very good right here. I'm just cautious with products that have large upside risk, aka Bitcoin, or commodities of certain types, or volatility products. I don't. This is a big move. We haven't had this kind of move in a while. We haven't been above this area since April. Um, I'm sorry, since crossing back over it, since about that April bullishness. And if we look on, let's see, let me pull it up. Sorry, give me 1 second to pull this chart up. I think it's worth it because this is actually my favorite combination of indicators here. So if we pull this up here, and the cloud is pretty nice. I just like the cloud part. We're actually breaking out of the cloud, which is nice. We did do that back in April. But you don't know if it's going to pull back like it did in April. That's the thing. You have to just play the odds. And if you play the odds consistently over time, you will profit and be successful. And I'm talking about just life in general too, not just trading. Like it goes both ways. It's also why it's super hard to make it. It's just because discipline is such a difficult thing. But we do have this nice volume picking up. There's some buy volume, as y'all can see. These nice candles, green. We haven't seen that many green ones in a row since back over here in late March. And it looks better. This is better set up to actually push out of this than it was in April, in my opinion. And that's why, to explain and say why I don't think that this is the best type to short, as saying earlier, referencing, oh, well, you said short here, maybe get long here. It just looks really strong. And with upside risk products like Bitcoin, you got to be careful for that because this thing could easily pop $1,000 in a day. And hopefully, if you have a stop in there to even protect yourself, which you might be thinking that you could just do that and it'd be easy, a lot of times those don't get hit. They don't get filled because price moves so fast past your price that it puts the order in. But let's give an example here. You've got right here and you put a stop in, let's say right above this, right? And so you have a stop at about 7,800 and you say, okay, sell it at 7,850 and put the order in. What if price jumps to 8,000 like here and your stop is right here, like in this area, and there was no business even done there. It just blew past because they had so much momentum. Then you're still in that position and you maybe wake up or come home from work or whatever that you're doing and your schedule's like, and then Bitcoin is up $1,000 over here or something. And I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm just giving an example of, especially on thinly traded products too, of what can happen when you try to use stop losses. I think manually putting your trades in is a good way to do it because also think of the scenario where they sell data, lots of firms do, and they sell trade and order flow. Imagine all of these stops and the alerts and everything else that all these different programs have. Do you think they're selling that data too? because I think they are.
Absolutely.
And so I try to use the most minimal amount of data putting in there. I like to use the services. You're like, oh, I see alerts right there. I use TradingView. I know what these little things are. Well, yeah, man, you gotta kind of mix it up, man. You can't full swing to one side. Like that's just, especially in the tech world, right? But so here we go. It's looking pretty strong. That's my thesis. I'm gonna stick to it. I do want to show y'all one quick thing that I noticed that was pretty interesting. Let's see, where is it? I had it pulled up on the other screen. Let's see. No, it's not that one. I might have to load up the chart. Yeah. So any thoughts over there?
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to wrap my head around where Bitcoin's headed right now. Like I'm just I can totally see it. I can see that possible bull run forming, but
There we go. I knew I'd find it. Yeah, it's coming up, but look at all this resistance, though.
yeah,
And yeah, am I maybe biased because I like crypto to go up? Of course, but don't lie. All y'all are. Everybody wants it to go up. So, but yeah, it is coming up right here on this resistance. This is something I noticed recently. Is this a giant falling wedge on Bitcoin? And I don't know if y'all know what a falling wedge is. If you don't, guess what? Let's go ahead and look it up. And we'll go to this first one here because stockcharts.com is badass. If you want to learn anything about technical analysis and just charting period, this is a great place to start. It's where I started. Chip Anderson, the guy I believe that started this, he is a really smart dude. I mean, everything about this, it's no BS. Like, and they have a thing up here, Chart School. If you go to this, I'll just show you all real quick. I mean, it has like all kinds of cool info and resources. I mean, it's the most in-depth, no BS info you're gonna get, in my opinion. Anyway, and they don't even pay me or anything, by the way, like literally zero. That's just 100% my feelings on that. So here's a couple falling wedge patterns. You can see here, there's one. You know, we can even get crazy here. And if y'all want to see all kinds of different pictures of them, there you go. They happen in all kinds of different shapes and forms. Most of them are something along these lines. That wasn't a good one. Sometimes Google sucks about that. Yeah, but y'all can see what it kind of generally is. The pattern. Here's a decent one. Here's even one coming up from the top. This is kind of the one I'm thinking we might be in for Bitcoin specifically. Is
yeah,
this style of a falling wedge. Here's another even falling wedge. And this happens in all markets too, guys. This is not just Bitcoin or anything. A lot of this stuff from these pictures are actually going to be from traditional markets. So here's another one. There you go. This is euro dollar. Made a little falling wedge. Boom, broke out. Here's another one. There you go. Same kind of thing. It happens a lot. Is the point, right? So are we? I'm not sure if we are yet. We don't have confirmation, but is this a falling wedge? What do you think, Joe?
it looks like a falling wedge to me. I don't know, man. I mean, the it just remains to be seen at this point. I mean, I personally am I'm pretty light still in crypto. I haven't accumulated as much of a position yet. Again, and at these prices, I'm waiting for Bitcoin to retreat a little bit. I'm waiting for the next cycle, but I might be missing out. I might be having some FOMO on a breakout. We'll never know. We might see soon enough, man.
That's pretty good. You might get some FOMO there, huh? All right.
We'll get. So I just called out my trade right now. I mean, that's where I'm headed. So like, let's see if
Yeah, so
Bitcoin
you can't.
ends up in FOMO land for me, man.
Yeah, it might, and it might. I can see that happening because we are right here, and the structure is better than when we were over here. Because look, guys, when we came up into here, RSI, see where it is? Boom. Here's ADX, nice and strong. ADX already gets weak and can't even break out into the line that I like to see it go over. And it stalled out there. Even it made slight divergence. RSI confirms that divergence. Over. Done. Breaks down, done. And here we are now, coming back up, testing underneath with the nice one. Sideways action. Market's accepting price at this new high right here. Let's just call it about, 72, 7,000, roughly in there. And now we're creeping up, made a nice candle here. But look at how different this structure is. See? This is kind of
Yeah,
like flattening out. This is already, and this has been building too for a little while. This is kind of like abrupt, boom, in and out, done. I talked about time earlier is important.
yeah.
You have more buy volume too right here. See, look at this. See, where's the volume here? I don't see any volume. There's none there. So
Nope.
I got it, especially before it rolled over. We're still getting continued volume here, guys. This last daily that just closed is still confirming that this move thus far is okay. Now, is it kind of scary to hold right here while it's going sideways? Damn right it is. It is nail biting. Of course, I've like gone in and out of a position on leverage on my paper account a couple of times because I'm just like, no, hold on. It's coming up to the top of this wedge. Is it going to break it though? And we don't know. Food for thought. Let me know what y'all think. I think this is a pretty clear defined wedge. The volume characteristics are perfect. And let's just do a little wedge education right now. Y'all probably like to do that.
Wedgication.
Wedgication? You want to do some wedgication? What do you think?
I'm down.
All right, let's go back to that where we were at and just get a couple pointers that it needs. All right, let's see. Prior trend to qualify is a reversal pattern. Obviously, there's got to be a prior trend in place, which there was. Bitcoin was up. Boom, it's crashing. Ideally, the falling wedge will form after an extended downtrend and mark the final low. So it's been forming over a general downtrend. This pattern usually forms over 3 to 6 months. Okay, that's about where we're at. And the preceding downtrend should be at least 3 months old. Let's pop back over to the chart and check it out. So here we are. You could count that maybe you have to put the wedge in here, right? But this is all like you can't go off of every single detail either, right? It's like art,
Mhm.
but it's close. We got at least 3, ideally 3 to the top, ideally 3 on the bottom. It's contracting, shallower lows, decreasing selling pressure with the volume just kind of dying. And what you want is, let's just go to these pictures because they help. No one wants to read all that crap. So you got you want to look for some divergence and maybe your favorite indicator, maybe some other one, volume type, like the chalk and money flow or something like that, which is what the CMF stands for right here. Y'all are wondering. And so look at this right here. When it starts breaking out of this wedge, volume increases in at the towards the end of here, and you especially have like a lot of volume right here saying, "Hey, this is it." So, and here too, same one, different chart. Boom. So I think that this could definitely be one of those. We'll see. With any pattern, you have to let it play out, but it does have the characteristics of it so far, especially if we see this bust out right here. If we can see this thing come out right here and do this, and then maybe do this, and then do this, that would be textbook. Confirmation, the best way to play wedges is actually wait for these to break and come back somewhere on any type of pullback when it's testing the top part of that wedge is like one of the best low risk trades that you can have. So this is something that we could have. Oh, y'all are probably wondering, hey man, what are these little lines with the map markers? Tentative SEC date is right here on August 10th. So I think it is pretty likely that we could rally into this day. This is just an idea that I have. So what if we just rally into this day, right? We could easily go up here into this $85 to $10,000 range. That could definitely happen. But then it gets postponed. And so then we have like a, oh my God, what the hell kind of move. And then come test this. The SEC they only can extend it for 45 days. So they have like a window where they have to respond to this ETF question, which is what I drew right there for everyone to see. So that's, if you're wondering what that is, that's what that is. This is the window. This is like about the final time that they have to say anything. So what if we kind of do something like this? And everyone's like, oh, what? Wait, now the new SEC meeting is here because they postponed it. Is it going to get approved this time? And everyone says it's really getting approved this time.
Yeah.
I'm really curious for these next 3 months before winter kicks in. Winter is traditionally super bullish for crypto, but there's a huge but in that. We have to wait to see what happens this fall because that is super important. And really this summer, I believe the summer by the end of August, early September, mid-September, we'll kind of know. I think we'll know if we have alt season coming up or if we're going to have to wait it out and see what price does. But those are just some of my thoughts. What do you kind of think of that assessment
solid,
there?
Man. I like that. That's, I'm hoping for that. I do have some crypto position, and I will be buying. I'll be buying if I see that same pattern, man. I'm gonna look back at this video too.
Yeah, it's
see where we're at.
I feel like it could totally
it's very, very, very convincing.
Yeah, I mean, because there's a little too much hype that ETFs are just maximum bullish euphoria, and it actually is good. If you look at gold,
it's good.
Well, we'll just talk about it just for a second. If we look at GLD, which is the gold ETF, if y'all don't know, it's from Spiders Gold Trust. It's the name. It's very well traded. Lots of people use it. Blah blah blah. All that. If we look at this, here's when it came out in about 2005, and it dropped initially like 10% or so. But look what happened after that. It proceeded to go on a 341% run over the next 79 months. So what is that? Like 6-7 years?
Yeah.
Boom. Just killing it. With only one really bad time, right, in the financial crisis, which is common. That's like a lot of things go correlated in the financial crisis or in a financial crisis, not necessarily '08. But when things start selling off hard and getting really bearish in traditional markets, everything becomes correlated to the downside because they're trying to sell to cover things, or maybe they got laid off, or there's so many different things that happen in that.
Everyone wants cash, needs liquid.
That's right. They need that cash money. Yeah. But wait, the dollar's bad. See, that's funny, isn't it, guys? Think about that for a second. All right, here you go. Look at gold. Since, I've been meaning to try to do regular market analysis in the videos, and it's been kind of hard. I keep forgetting to do that, but this is going to spark me to doing it. Here you go. That actually is pretty ugly. I don't even know. I'm erasing that. That got broke. Let's just see if this plays out. It's long term. I like gold and silvers and stuff. I'm not a huge fan. I think crypto's cooler, but Gold bugs they kind of make me laugh sometimes. I'll just leave it at that. Let's look at let's look at ES, which is the futures contract for the S&P 500, which the markets have been looking very bullish. If you can see that we drew this profit and loss position thing on here on this day, it has come to fruition. It has done fairly well. I'm still bullish on the general markets. I think there's a lot of upside in them, especially the S&P. It's been lagging. If you look at here, this is kind of pretty much since the beginning of the year. There's the all-time highs. We're pretty far away from that, about 60 points. But if you go to the NASDAQ, which consists of Google's, the FANGs, the tech stocks, we are way past this. Here's the same time point of where that high was in the S&P. We are way past that. This tells me that we're going into the what I am going to call the super bubble, the biggest bubble of all time. I think it's going to make the tech bubble look like tiny. And I know that sounds really crazy. Like, how can it keep going up? Look at this. Look at that weekly chart. Here's 08. How can it keep going?
Hey man, all that money.
Excuse me.
All that money flow.
How could it? Well, I don't know. Maybe it could. You don't know. Why couldn't it? There's a better question.
It will.
Let's look at 99 real quick. And I know this data doesn't go back to there, but you know what? We can make it go back to there by choosing. Hold on. All right, so here you go. Here's 90s, early 90s, 93, 94, 95. 95 alone, the market went from about 400 to 600 just to the summer. And then by the end of the year, you know, finished out a little higher. And then here you go, 96, 97, 98, 99. Oh, shit. So that's where it pops, clearly, right?
Yeah.
There's the end of the dot-com bubble. But let's look at this. What time frame? How long is this, would you say? Would you think? Oh, man. So it's been about 9 years. I guess it'll be 10 years next year. It'll be a decade anniversary since the financial crisis. Yay.
Yeah, since the 08 one, yeah.
Yeah. And so we can go on here and look. And how long did this take? Oh, look, it took about a decade. Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah.
This big tech bubble. It actually was a little longer if you count, because I would count it back from the 87 crash with the savings and loans where that got real crazy with like 20% interest rates. And like, man, you think 0% is crazy. It is. It most definitely is. But 20% is equally as crazy. So it's just like on the other side of crazy, right? It's like, hey, it's this kind of crazy, this kind of crazy. And so I would say from pretty much the late 80s, this went on like a 10, 12-year run. I mean, let's just say you bought from the highs before the 80s happened. It's like 2,000%, okay? In 10 years, mind you. All right, now let's fast forward. Keep that in mind, 10 years. Here's 2009, beginning of 2009. When's the beginning of 2009? Or of 2019? That's coming up right here. Boom. Right underneath this area. Right around here. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's pretty soon. 12 months. But let's go backwards in time real fast and look at what happened in the last short innings of the tech bubble. On fire, on fire, on fire for since 95 on, it pretty much went from 300 up to almost 5,000. And you're like, wow, that's insane. It is insane. But look what happened in the last 2 years of it. This is just the last 2 years. Okay. Boom. Look at this. It went up 300% just in the final 2 years of the bubble. To make that even crazier, most of those moves only happen in two sections of 105 days of 76% and 101% in 161 days or 23 weeks. Okay? So that's from mid-October to mid-March. That's nothing. And it doubled. It doubled in half a year. All right, now let's go back to now. Scrolly, scrolly, scrolly. Here we are. We did a nice big run right here. See, right before breaking out of the all-time highs of before. If y'all remember, everyone thought this was it. See, it's a broadening top. See it? Everyone sees it. Here it is. That's it, bros. No,
Yeah.
didn't happen. But it did look like that. Like that's the proper way to play that.
That is the proper way to
It
play
is.
that,
But now you're wrong.
This is central banking, dude.
But it doesn't. You even aside all of the crazy stuff, it doesn't matter because price will tell you you're wrong right here. Look, however you drew this, even if you drew it really tight like this, you're wrong here. You're wrong in here somewhere. You are literally wrong right here, no matter how you drew this pattern. So now you need to get out and say, wait, get long.
That's like the money printing machine is going nuts, dude.
And so now we break out, and look, we only went up 50% so far. 50, okay? 50 on that first leg. Even from the max, it's 55, okay? Remember in context, back to the tech bubble. Do y'all remember?
Oh, yeah, I remember the tech bubble.
Let's do it again. Just because I want to make this point really clear.
Look at that.
Look at this. Latter part of the year, super pumped into springtime, and then the bad boys came in. Okay? There it is. Boom. 6 months. But the previous 6 months, again, in this little first run-up, was 75%. Okay? So why couldn't we, if we only went up 50 right here, why can't we actually do 75? That puts us to 8,500. Okay?
Yeah.
And then really blow your mind, it went up 100% after it went sideways for 6 months. So let's just say it's right here. Boom. 15,000 NASDAQ. Double from right here. And you're probably like, God damn, I'm unsubscribing and not listening to this dude ever again. This guy is nuts. Look how overbought it is, or whatever the hell you want to say. But guess what? Markets are irrational longer than you can be solvent. Okay? They will keep doing this just like they did already and think about the timing too to fully wrap that up. 10 years, 10 to 12 years, depending when you want to measure it. If you want to either measure it from 90 or the early 90 crash or the 87 crash. We're coming up right now to the 10th year. And guess what that perfectly lines up with? President Trump re-election. There is too many weird points, and I could consider myself back in the day when I first started trading like a perma bear. Like I always wanted the markets just to go down. Like I always wanted to short stuff. I've read Zero Hedge way too much. Okay? Trust me, that shit messes with your brain. And it's not even run by like the same people anymore. I can't remember who bought it, but who cares about that? But price right here, does this not look bullish as crap? I mean, yeah, could it sell off? You could say, well, it looked like that here. Yeah, okay, it did. You're right, it did. Oh, yeah, there is some divergence on the weekly. Yeah, there is a little bit of divergence on the daily, on the 3 days. How about on the daily? Yeah, just slightly. Look at that's like baby divergence, though. That's not even, it's like 100 points, guys. It's not that much. We need a little more time to play this out and see what happens. I just have a feeling that crypto, and I'm going to let you talk about this connection a little bit, that crypto is going to fuel the full, as in, what was it? The Tropic Thunder. You never go full retard. But I think we're getting fuel to do exactly that. What do you think about those thoughts there?
Well, I mean, I could see that happening. Like the one thing that crypto brings to the table that I think a lot of people have seemed to have the professionals on the market to have the positive ones about crypto and Bitcoin in particular. They've talked about their like kids or whatever. They're like, I can't get them to make a savings account, but all of a sudden they're trading crypto, and so like suddenly they're starting to gain some level of respect for what's going on there, where it's attracting new money to the table, whether or not they think it's legit or not. It doesn't matter. So that said, there's definitely a trend of always new money coming to the table, and it's going to be bullish for everything. The only thing that's like problematic is some sort of black swan situation. But that's like,
But that's always kind of the case, right?
yeah,
You don't
that's
worry
always
about
kind of
like
the
getting
case.
T-boned in your car
You
every
know, you
day.
know what's amazing? Like we were looking at the bubble earlier. We were looking at the dot-com bubble. Like where does 9/11 fit in on that thing? Guess what? It fits in right perfectly where it doesn't even seem out of place. It looks
Right,
exactly on schedule
right. It's like, oh, look, no
to
one knows.
just like
It's all
beat
good now.
just beat the rest of the bubble down. Like it's done. That's the close of the old era, and now we're moving into a new territory, and then we have this housing bubble thing happen, and then that craps out, and now we got super central bank intervention mode going on for the last decade.
Free money.
Free money. And the best part is like, yeah, the Fed doesn't buy equities. That's against the rules. That's immoral even. That's practically immoral. Well, guess what? The Fed, other other central banks don't have any problems buying US equities.
Yeah, right.
And we don't have any problem giving them $2 billion forex swaps on USD for whatever currency they're printing. So boom,
Yeah,
all of a sudden they have
that's a good point.
$10 billion USD to go pump up our market with that we just freshly printed into the market, or like 85 billion. What was it? 85 billion for like how many months? 85 billion a month. That was QE, whatever. That went on for how long after that crash, dude? Like and that money. What happened to that money? Like it went into propping up all the shit, but like this represents a fraction of the money out there that's like in other assets are not represented directly by the pricing of this chart. But like of this representing the economy itself, though, it's like the whole picture of it is so insane. It just blows my mind.
It really is. Look at this little thing I did while you were chatting about that. Isn't this interesting?
Oh man.
So I just copied the candle profile of the .com bubble and then overlaid it at about the 10-year mark. I do have a little couple extra years, so this goes back to about 88, right after the 87 crash bottomed out. And so I had, because I wanted to see and be able to use both. But it looks like if you plot it this way, then it's like almost the same. But look at the .com bubble relative. That thing
That thing tore
went
out.
on
Yeah.
full retard mode.
Yeah. That was like pets.com time, man. That was like
and this is where I think we're headed, but it's going to be Bitcoin.com time and not like Roger Ver or something, guys. Gosh, okay. No, I'm just saying like crypto everything is just gonna make everything better. Like I think, and this is more interesting. Look at this. It's like consolidation a little time here before it went 95, 99. or 90. I'm sorry, this was like 97. Yeah, guys, 98. There you go, right there. 98, 99. Where are we at now, guys? Right there, 2018, right into elections or winter elections, 2020 November. Crazy, guys. This is crazy. This is one of my favorite. I haven't been more excited about trading until I lined up a lot of stuff last year and was like 2018 is going to be the bomb diggity. Let's get it in. On that note, man, you got any other comments, or I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up.
Yeah, I think to close, I'm kind of sitting mostly on the sidelines the next couple of days and see how the week pans out before I make any kind of big trades. My favorites. One of my favorites is Litecoin,
Litecoin, let's
and
pull up
and
Litecoin real
Litecoin's been
quick.
doing pretty poorly right now. It's not been holding up.
No, I got slapped hard right
Yeah,
there.
but
It is looking good though off of my
it's a good
average in the
buy.
cloud.
Yeah,
This is right here is real good RR.
yeah.
So
And I feel like
food for thought.
look against Bitcoin real quick.
Yeah, I usually don't do that on the top pairs.
Yeah, I know you don't, but like
Yeah, I don't
there's
find as much value on it. See, because to me, I wouldn't want anything to do with Litecoin for since May. But that's not accurate though to me. You know, that's why I don't like Bitcoin. Like when a coin's a top coin, I like to use USD. It's a shit coin.
I
I use
got you.
Bitcoin
I
for that.
got you. I
Because what do
think
you get? What is the value you get from
well,
this?
there's information there, man. I mean, look, there's a clear downtrend there that's like no bottom in sight. And whereas in the other thing, in the other print, it's totally like a different impression there. I mean, that's something that's pretty valuable. It's just that it's not rising like against dollars as much. I mean, look, I mean, just like
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not really. I've never used. I usually look at Bitcoin pairs for everything except for the top the top coins.
because
And
I feel like the dollar chart on Litecoin's a little weird.
it is weird. It's just because it went flat for so long.
It goes flat while Bitcoin takes off.
Yeah,
It
because
does that a lot,
yeah, it's
and that's kind of what I'm trying to eyeball. That's why I look
oh
at both of the
gosh,
charts. That's terrible.
yeah, Binance is not good for long term. Don't look at that. I meant to click bit tracks. Yeah, I mean, so you had, I like I said, I just don't. Where is any like you? If you looked at this, you wouldn't want to mess with this. I mean, any like this whole time, like this whole year, you'd be like, well, Litecoin's done.
Yeah,
But really, if you look at it on a, and even now, you wouldn't want to touch it here since April. This whole since the extra rally it even had, you'd be like, no way, I'm not touching that. But if you go on a dollar though, in the same time frame, here's 2016. You're looking at this and you're like, oh damn, that looks like accumulation like a mofo. I need to buy that. Maybe you don't. That's my opinion. But that looks like accumulation.
yeah.
But at the same, if you look at it on the Bitcoin one though, it's just dying.
Can you overlay those two?
I probably could, yeah. So you can see.
Or even like LTC, BTC.
No, I don't want that one. No, I don't want that one. I do want that one. Ah, damn it. I guess it's not going to be. It's probably going to look like a funky chart though, if I had to guess properly.
Well, I just need the percentage.
Yeah, there you go. That's not that. That's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So
So USD's here, and this is
can you
for
put them in
Bitcoin.
can you put them in like percent?
I don't
scale.
I'm not sure. I don't actually do maybe. No, it's like grayed out.
Okay, maybe because the log scale's set.
There you go.
Try putting. Oh, you got it there.
Yeah, it was grayed out on here, but if you click on the bottom, it worked.
Okay.
It was weird. But yeah, so
Yes.
I'm not. Yeah,
Weird.
see, I don't really find value from that. I
Yeah.
don't really know. Yeah, I don't really. Like I said, I like the dollar pairs on the main guys, but I don't. Do you find value in that? Please tell me.
No, I mean not. I'm thinking about it. Like I'm thinking about how it just like the about the divergence there. The top one is which one? Dollars?
No, that's
Is it the
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin one? Okay.
No,
Yeah. So that's like when Bitcoin was tearing out and Litecoin was languishing, and then Litecoin caught up for a second to try to caught up with Bitcoin, but then it decoupled. Now it's below where Bitcoin was at. I guess from where the beginning of this chart was, it's all percentage, right?
yeah,
So, but like,
yeah, but it kind of doesn't. It's kind of like all like negative, and I don't know. Percent charts are kind of weird. I don't ever use percent charts,
yeah,
but yeah, I do know that the big ones I like to just use those. Yeah, I mean that's interesting. I've never really looked at that chart before. Let's look at Ethereum real quick. Still ranging. Shocker.
yeah,
Shocker. It just really isn't anything really exciting right now. Like the only way to find like exciting things, I feel like, is you go to like Binance here. Let's see if something else big is moving. Let's see. Oh, Syscoin.
Syscoin
Syscoin just
moving.
came up on the
Where's
map.
Syscoin at now?
It's up 10% since we've been chatting.
Nice.
That might be an interesting one. Let's pull that up real quick. Dang. Oh, that's because I don't have a cryptocurrency filter on. There we go. Much cleaner. Oh, wow. Look at Syscoin, guys. Look at this. I like this chart. I like this chart a lot. Yeah,
Yeah,
that is a solid pump,
that's pretty
rip your
good.
face off chart. Pump
Yeah.
and dump, by the way.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. But yeah, wow.
Yeah,
Okay,
Syscoin.
Syscoin, and it's creeping up on the volume.
Damn.
Let's see what the total volume is on that. 371. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. Is it on the front? Oh, there it is. Dentacoin. Jeez, I didn't think that one would be so serious. Like I never thought dentists on the blockchain would be.
Dentist on the blockchain.
It's like that's it. Teeth records or something on the blockchain. I don't understand it. All right, yeah. So keep an eye on Syscoin, maybe some self key. Oh, I wanted to mention a coin I had never heard of. Maybe one of y'all's heard of it. Y'all can tell me something about it. It's called Proppy. It just came out, as you can tell. Look, it's got the classic. It just came out. Look. All right. We need to come up with a name with that, but that is what it is.
Proppy.
So it's called Proppy, and I think it's like real estate something based. Oh gosh, I gotta look it up now.
Proppy coin.
I'm like 90% sure it's like some Proppy. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Here it is. So they've raised about 15 mil. They are pretty much pioneers in the space, guys. They definitely are decentralizing the real estate industry. They do have a lot of people, I will say, working on the project. It's a lot more than most you see. They sold some shit. Let's do beta, and then maybe we'll do stuff later. Isn't that kind of how that
So
works?
they just like run off to an island and.
Oh, here it is. We don't want to play that. Y'all can go here if y'all want to see it. It's Global Property Store with decentralized title registry. Like we never heard about that one. This is revolutionary. I'm going to become an ambassador. Let's see what that means. Proppy ambassador program. Program with ME. That adds an extra dose of me involved in it, so I feel more connected. Jesus. Then it's and people think that this market's dead with like cryptos and stuff. Man, we haven't seen it dead until we go, I think, full retard mode. And that's when like Amazon officially announces some kind of blockchain, business they're in, like some real announcement, not like, like Google's today is like, we built a SDK for developers. It's cool. It's like a development kit. Y'all don't know. But it's like, here's a cool little development kit that y'all can jump on board of Google Cloud, because we like blockchain. That's not really like a formal, we're in it. Like Google's back end uses Stellar. Like that's way different, right? Which I am researching something about a possibility of maybe Ripple and Amazon, maybe.
Ripple and Amazon.
Yeah, we'll have to keep those thoughts for a different episode.
Yeah.
And with that info there, let's wrap it up. Joe, why don't you say goodbye to the people?
Yeah, it was good. Another good episode, man. Let's keep this ball rolling. See where we're at next week. Stellar and Amazon, man. Something's happening.
No, Ripple. Ripple and Amazon. Stellar maybe too, though. Here's Stellar's chart real quick.
Stellar and Coinbase.
There it is. Look at this on the cloud, though. It's getting rejected. Careful.
Yeah.
Careful.
That's a rough one to hold.
Careful, but it is in a good spot on the 4-hour. Really good risk to reward. On that note, this is Noiz Research with Z-Rex and special guest today, Transfix, a.k.a. Joe, or Joe, a.k.a. Transfix. I'm not sure.
Either way.
It could go both ways. I don't know if Joe does. I'm just kidding. Ha. We make jokes. All right, guys. Y'all take care. We will talk to y'all tomorrow. Peace.
Sayonara.